What if events went differently and Home Alone lost in New York? What if the rage virus had spread in Home Alone? Welcome back, my fellow watchers of the multiverse. My name is Max Charlebois, aka MissedThePart, and welcome back to another What If episode where we're going to be closing out with a banger. Horror Week has been amazing, and I can't thank you guys enough for the support, the engagement. I'm seeing so much new people here on the channel and new requests. We're getting so many different things. You guys are really enjoying these types of themes and these different themes that we're going to be doing at the beginning and end of the month. So stick around for even more craziness because Gaming Week is official. Gaming Week will be hosted at the end of May, and there's going to be a lot of requests that I've taken throughout the live stream. So if you guys haven't already checked out the MissedThePart live streams, make sure to turn those notifications on so you're notified when the latest stream or video is posted. But that being said, my fellow watchers of the multiverse, today, May the 8th, 2025 is the last day to get your Playtime is Over merchandise. So once it's gone, it is gone from the store forever. So make sure to get that. It is the Toy Story gang in Call of Duty Zombies. It's a very unique idea that was requested in one of the live streams. But that being said, my fellow watchers of the multiverse, thank you guys so much for the latest support. I want to thank the YouTube members as well as the Patreon community. You guys know what's going to be happening on Gaming Week, and if you guys do want to know, I would highly recommend becoming a member so you get behind the scenes looks at everything that we're doing here on the MissedThePart channel. But let's dive into the brand new What If episode. Kevin McCallister had it all. A penthouse suite in the Plaza Hotel. A bottomless minibar. Bellhops afraid to question him. His father's stolen credit card with his golden ticket. And for a kid with a genius for traps and zero adult supervision, New York was heaven on earth. He wore a hotel robe like a king and called for room service like a god. He watched bad movies late into the night and ordered $900 worth of room snacks without blinking. The only threat on his radar was the dumb, greasy Wet Bandits, Harry and Marv, who had somehow survived Chicago and now seemed to be haunting the city like pigeons with grudges. But all of that was before the news broke. Across town, underground flickers, fluorescent lights, in a custom-inspected room at JFK, two overworked transport agents opened the wrong crate. It wasn't labeled properly. It had UK quarantine stamps, but they'd already been behind on inspection, and one of them wanted to go home early and watch Letterman. The container cracked open with a hiss of chilled air. Inside, a squirming mass of fluid and blood-soaked rags. One agent reached in, probably some bad animal cargo. It latched onto his arm before he finished the sentence, and then it screamed. 4 minutes later, they were tearing through the arrival's hall, blood steaming from their eyes, tearing into a group of German tourists. By morning, Manhattan was sick. Kevin, of course, hadn't heard a thing, too busy bouncing on a bed with his headphones in, blasting holiday music and eating creme brulee straight from the tray. Downstairs, Mr. Hector was being berated by a spoiled hearse whose Perrine had disappeared from the elevator. "He's gone. I heard barking and then screaming." "I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding, madam," Hector said, adjusting his tie, trying not to look at the bloodied paw prints on the floor. Later that evening, the TV news flickered in the suite as Kevin chewed through the gummy worms. Isolated riot in Brooklyn, police struggling to contain what they're calling a viral psychotic episode. He changed the channel, cartoons safer. In the lobby, two very familiar trench-coated figures shuffled in, dripping wet, hiding crowbars under their coats. Harry and Marv. "You see that penthouse suite? That's where the kid's staying," Marv whispered. "He's got the minibar, the view, the everything. We crack this joint tonight. We get him and the loot." They didn't notice the trail of blood dragging into the staff elevators behind them. Midnight. Kevin heard something strange from the hallway. Not yelling, roaring. He crept to the door and peered through the peephole. Mr. Hector was sprinting past the door in full panic, soaked in blood, tie flapping behind him. A woman in the bellhop uniform was charging on all fours, eyes burning red, her jaw unhinged, like an animal's. What the hell? Then came the alarms and the screams. Kevin backed away, just as something slammed into the door. The wood cracked. Splinters flew inward. He grabbed a nearby cart, barricaded it, then sprinted for his trunk. It was instinct. He didn't know what was going on yet, but he knew enough from movies and nightmares. When adults scream like that, you run. Across the hallway, Harry and Marv stood at the vending machine in the lounge, bickering over gum when the power went out. The silence that followed wasn't peaceful. It was heavy. And then from the elevator, a ding. The door opened. Inside, two Plaza staff members, half naked, twitching, faces slicked with blood. They exploded from the elevator with screeching violence. Harry screamed and slipped on the marble. Marv swung his crowbar, connected with a wet crunch. The infected bellhop kept moving. Kevin opened the door to the hallway, just in time to see the chaos erupting. His traps wouldn't be funny this time. The Plaza had fallen. The rage virus was inside. Guests ran through corridors on fire. Infected crashed through windows in silence, smiling. Kevin slammed his door shut and screamed at the top of his lungs. Then he turned and grabbed everything sharp he could find. "Okay, you filthy animals, let's play." Crystal chandeliers lay scattered across the floor. Wrapping paper and ribbons soaked in gore clung to torn up bodies like twisted holiday decor. Infected hotel guests, still in tuxedos, still wearing glittering Santa hats, sprinted and clawed like rabid animals through the corridors, dragging the unlucky across the marble in trails of slick, Christmas red. Kevin slammed the door to the ballroom shut, bolting them with a bent coat rack. Behind him, Harry, wheezing, Marv covered in blood that wasn't his. For the first time in their miserable lives, they were afraid. "This is a dream, right?" Marv muttered, eyes wide, voice trembling. "This is one of those, Christmas nightmare things." "Does it look like a dream, you idiot?" Harry snapped. But even he looked broken. His hands were shaking. His crowbar was bent. Kevin didn't answer them. He was already on the move. Flipping chairs, stacking tables, sliding a broken candy cart across the entrance. "We need time. We need weapons. We need traps." "For what?" Marv asked. "They ain't scared of us. They're like raccoons on fire." Kevin turned slowly, eyes hollow. "That's the point." Within the hour, Kevin had transformed the Plaza ballroom, spa, hallways, and lobby into a fortress of death. But this time, it wasn't just buckets and feathers. It was savage. He coated the marble floor in industrial kitchen grease, then ran Christmas lights across the ceiling. When the infected came sprinting, they slid and impaled themselves on the lights that snapped down like garrots. The spa hot stones were rewired into a boiling oil delivery system. One pull of a ribbon, and 24 gallons of molten water and skin peeling oil dumped from above. In the lobby, he rigged the presents to spin with nail guns, hot wired to fire in a circle, turning into a turret of wrapping paper death. They found survivors. Not many. Some of them with a broken arm. A cleaning lady covered in bite marks, but still lucid. 2 tourists from Minnesota, shell-shocked and holding broken umbrella handles like weapons. They all followed Kevin. Harry and Marv watched from a corner as the kid explained pressure plates, tripwires, fire escapes. How does he know all this? Harry whispered. 'Cause he ain't normal, Marv muttered. He's something else. That night, the infected breached the 2nd floor. Dozens of them. They crashed through the windows and scrambled up elevator shafts in silence. Their eyes burned, their fingernails ripped down wallpaper as they sprinted towards the scent of blood. Kevin stood in the ballroom in a Santa hat, soaked in red, waiting. I want to play a game. They hit hard. The survivors held the doorways. Marv used a candy cane as a shiv, stabbing one of the infected in the eyes as it lunged at the cleaning lady. Harry, coughing, bleeding from a cracked rib, smashed a fire extinguisher over a banker's head, then lit him on fire. Kevin flipped a switch. The entire front lobby detonated. Ornaments that were filled with corrosion powder exploded in synchronized bursts. Infected bodies ripped apart in spray of fire and lights. Limbs slid across the marble like ragdolls in a snow globe from hell. After the silence returned, the ballroom reeked of death. Marv sat in the corner, crying. Not loud, just exhausted, shaking. Harry looked at Kevin. You're not just a smart kid, you're a survivor. Kevin didn't look back. He stared at the blood under his nails. They killed the bellhop who brought me cookies. I'm not doing this for fun. The scream came. From the kitchen, they ran. Too late. The cleaning lady was gone, dragged through the dumbwaiter. Blood smeared the steel. Her boots still twitched on the tile. We can't stay here, Kevin whispered. They'll come in bigger numbers next time. He turned to the group. There's a chopper evac point at Central Park, south, 7 a.m. If we move before dawn, we might make it. Marv wiped his face and nodded. Harry leaned on the wall, limping, clutching a pipe. Lead the way, kid. Kevin was in the front. He had homemade Molotovs strapped to his belt, Marv dragging a bloodied croak mallet, and Harry in a stolen Santa coat, teeth gritted. Behind them, the Plaza burns. And somehow deep in the wine cellar, something new is crawling up the wall. The city was dying. The streets outside the plaza were no longer filled with cars or carolers, only silhouettes sprinting in red-lit fog. The infected poured through the subway gates and fire escapes like rats on fire. Kevin, Harry, and Marv led the final group of survivors down Fifth Avenue. Sticking to the alleys, a shopping cart filled with makeshift explosives rattled behind them. Kevin limped, his ankle swollen, arm bruised from the fall in the kitchen. They had less than 20 minutes to make it to the Central Park South helipad. Just a few more blocks, kid, Harry muttered. We're almost out. But then the screams. Not human, not close. It echoed through the sewer grates, hundreds of infected they'd been following. They reached the underground parking garage behind the heliport. Steel doors already jammed halfway open. A military van burned just outside. No soldiers, no survivors, just shadows. Kevin turned and saw them. A wave of infected, dozens, maybe hundreds, barreling down the ramp towards them. Kevin froze, his breath visible, his leg numb. I can't, he whispered. I can't run anymore. Go! Marv stopped, eyes wide, panicked. He looked back at the horde, then at Kevin. Harry turned, breathing heavily, jaw clenched. And then, he shoved Kevin. You're always dead weight, kid. Marv screamed, What the hell, Harry? You want to die in a sewer with this kid? Be my guest. He grabbed Marv's arm and dragged him. Marv looked back. Kevin was still standing, still shocked. The infected swarm hit, and Kevin disappeared beneath them. Outside, Harry and Marv burst through the far side of the garage and collapsed on the helipad. No chopper, only snow, only sirens in the distance. Marv sobbed into his sleeves. He saved us, man. He saved us. Harry lit a cigarette with shaking hands. Kid was smart, but smart doesn't matter when you're slow. But we stay underground, in the dark. The horde pulls back. And in the middle of a circle of slaughtered infected, Kevin stands. Face bloodied, shirt torn, eyes wide. In his right hand, a bloody snow globe. He screams, but not in fear. In rage. 6 months later. A quarantine wall surrounded New York City. 2 mercenaries walk through the snow near a shattered gift shop. One finds a map drawn in crayon, and a name scrabbled in red. Harry. The merc smiles. Looks like someone made the naughty list. The other points towards a frozen parking garage below. Footprints, tiny ones, leading into the dark. And that is going to be it for What If Kevin McCallister was in 28 Days Later? What if Home Alone 2 crossed over with 28 Days Later? Thank you guys so much for watching Horror Week. We're closing it out with a banger, so again, I can't thank you guys enough. And also, before I let you go, my fellow watchers of the multiverse, the horror merchandise is still available tonight. Once it is gone, it is gone. It's the Toy Story gang and COD Zombies. It's a very unique and interesting design. But again, thank you guys so much for the latest support on the channel. Gaming Week is coming at the end of May, so stay tuned for that. But as we're closing out Horror Week, again, thank you guys so much. Give me some feedback in the comments section down below, and what other themes would you like to see at the beginning of the month or at the end of the month, because that's when we're going to be doing the themes. But again, thank you guys so much. Get the Playtime is Over merchandise before it's gone for good, before it's over for good. But again, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care and have a wonderful day. Peace out.